All right, folks, we're ready now for another flower of the week. So I'm not sure what to call this. I just thought of this a moment ago, but let's get a main construction line here. And kind of closing in on my TCAA projects. So I'm gonna, one of these days, gonna draft a curriculum here based on a lot of the stuff that I've been teaching in person classes. So not sure exactly how that's all gonna work out, but anyway, the gesture drawing that I teach is going to be a part of that. So anyway, the idea of gesture drawing is just to loosen up and just get in, some rough information out. I know this looks pretty precise and stuff, but that's only because I've done it a lot and I'm pretty relaxed about it and stuff. So not sure what to call this, but let's you can see this main construction line. It gives us something to build out from with this curvature of that part of the flower, and this kind of curves in a little bit tighter. That respects this line, and this line here opens up a little bit more. So let's see what we can do on leather for this. This little, I guess you'd call it some kind of a little cap at the bottom. I see that on some illustrations for like Victorian ornament kind of stuff. I'm not sure if it even occurs in nature, but this leather's a little bit on the dry side. We'll see how we do here. That push and twist method, and you might see on this where I've got an opening. I don't cut clear to these lines right here. I leave a little bit of a rim right there. Well, these petals here will not be undercut. There's just going to be some straight cuts there, but yeah, this could be in the daffodil family possibly. The thing I like about this type of flower is the layers. You've got an opening here, a lot of opportunity for shading, and you got all these different layers going on there that really make it work well to get this expressed in leather. I got my smooth shader here. We should say smooth beveler, rounded beveler. How are you doing on walking your tools? Talked to a couple of friends of mine here recently, and well, they're both about my age, I suppose, but they talk about how much neck and shoulder problems they have, and how they're just in a lot of tension. They just allow a lot of tension in their neck and shoulders, and they probably do in their hands too. And it's one of the things I think I have to offer when it comes to training people, teaching people, is to try to figure out how to get your body comfortable And that means to find a way to relax those hands. And grip the tools no tighter than is required to control them. Okay, set up my operation with my beveler here. And all my left hand is doing is locating the tool each time the tool kind of jumps when I strike it. See how it kind of jumps there a little bit each time I strike it. So when it jumps, that's I'm just moving it along in a smooth, fluid fashion here. Okay. Let's see what we got for shading tools. This is that line shader that I use so much. See how I fanned that? I didn't keep it straight, I fanned it. And that's, once again, that's respecting the form of the shape of the flower right there. And the flower, just to emphasize the point, is respecting the curvature of that original construction line. So I put a little bit of cross hatching in there. I should have done this while I had this tool in my hand here, but do a little shading down the middle of each one of these little petals. I didn't, on my, kind of did a shortcut as I normally would. Didn't demonstrate on the drawing how I didn't put any main construction line down the center of any of these petals here. But this shading, of course, it respects what would be a construction line going down each one of those little 4 petals right there. Okay, let's see. This is a smooth pear shader, one that I've made. I've made most of mine. This shading is respecting that curvature again. And then when you get past halfway or so, then you gotta switch the shading direction. That's kind of a transition one right there. Okay, let's go with a big pear shader. This is just a big smooth pear shader. I like to darken that part right there, leaving just a little rim around the... I didn't leave very much of one though, did I? Alright, let's use an undercut beveler here. Reach for our little pie-shaped piece to sharpen up these little areas right here. And swivel knife. Sometimes I've done this on kind of put a couple of little cuts right there. Then this part right here, this is what I've done quite a bit before. So I'm following the curvature of the kind of creating a sense of roundness with this, and I'm cutting one way and then in the other. Let's see what a crosshatch might look like on that, just for fun. And these petals, so oftentimes I'll kind of accentuate that some leather I've had laying around in the shop a little bit, so it's started to color up just a little bit just from the exposure to light. So this is a shade darker than it normally is, and that's what happens then as you get that lighter color in there. I got a little bit of a bad cut going on right there, but you see that kind of a bit of a whitish. So when you're cutting fresh leather, that doesn't happen. You don't get that kind of contrast with it. So there we have it, our flower of the week. I'm not sure what we're going to call it, but there it goes.